Oh, right. Well, this is oddly familiar. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the second stream of the day. I've been a busy boy today, haven't I? So, as promised, the new Gran Turismo Sport update is here, and we are going to be jamming some of it this evening. I hope you are all doing well. Yeah, it's only been, what, about an hour or two or three since the last stream. When are we? I think we finished the F1 2019 stream just before 4. So yeah, it's been about a couple hours. So hope you enjoyed your little time off. I know I did. I did Monaco in the career and surprisingly did quite well, which I wasn't expecting to do. Also had some dinner, chilled out for a little bit. Got into an argument with a colleague from work over frickin' money. So that's always fun. So anyway, new update. And as per usual, let's briefly go over what is in the new update. So 5 new cars. None of them really I care about, apart from the Red Bull X 2019 competition model that they've added, which they use in the GT World Tour, Gran Turismo World Tour Series. New track, new original circuit, or an addition to an already existing original circuit, the Sardinia Road Course, 3 layouts. So that now goes with the dirt version of that track, or the dirt layout of that track. A few new events as well. So what we're going to do tonight is, as per usual, we're going to do the new circuit experience for Goodwood. We are going to do some of the new events. We're going to be grinding towards getting the X 2019 competition because it's 3 million credits, and as you can see we have just under 1 million, so we're going to be grinding towards that. And then to end off, hopefully we're going to be able to do the 30 lap enduro in that car at Autopolis, which I'm very, very excited about because, as you guys know, if you've been watching these streams, I very much genuinely enjoy that track. So let's start out with the circuit experience for Goodwood. With an early start this evening, we should be able to get through fairly quickly. And also with an early start means an elongated stream, hopefully. It really depends on, you know, what we're able to get through. And, yeah. I can tell you as of right now, the only things I really want to do is the Goodwood circuit experience. So I want to do the Goodwood circuit experience. There's some new events in the Group 1 Championship in the Advanced League, and then I want to do the 30 lap enduro. Now, I didn't realize this at the time, but in order to... I thought the Red Bull, being that it was a trimmed down version of the X 2014 standard, would actually cost less. It's actually the exact same price as that said car at 3 million credits. Now, had I known that before the stream, I would have spent the time off stream grinding. However, unfortunately, they don't announce the prices of these cars prior to the update. So therefore, kind of had to guess. And I thought it was going to be about 1 million credits. Boy, was I wrong by about 2 million credits. So, disappointing, but not overly concerned. We should be able to make up for that. We'll be utilizing the technique that is to go to Blue Moon Bay, get a McLaren F1, and do some grinding that way. I just have to remember how to do said grinding method because I haven't had to do it in a while. Because I haven't needed to grind anything in a while. Because I basically now just pop in to play Gran Turismo Sport when the updates are live. And that's about it. I don't play it otherwise. And that's just how it is for me. I don't see a reason to play it otherwise. So, you know. As is. But yeah, no, so... was going to go live earlier. I was going to go live a little bit earlier tonight, however, I got into the argument with my work colleague about money. Not going to go into details, but let's just say, this is what I'll say, don't wind people up for the sake of winding people up. It's not nice. About 5 minutes ago, I was super, uber, mega pissed off. Now, fortunately, I have the comfort of a good stream to calm me down, but I was not a happy chappy. But that is life, and we move on to some positives. Positives. Lots of positives. I wonder if this will affect our lap time much. If we keep the rest of the lap pretty quick, then that shouldn't have a drastic effect on lap time. Okay, yeah. This track, man, I like it. First of all, I question why the hell we're doing it in an Aston Martin V8 Vantage. I don't really feel that it's the most appropriate car for the track. But what's interesting to me is the addition of circuits in the game. Since really just this, the circuit additions this year in the form of Goodwood, in the form of the new Sardinia road course, in the form of what else has been released this year. I think the new Tokyo Expressway layouts have been released this year. So, are questionable at best. On Instagram today, the legend himself, Valentino Rossi of all people, replied to Gran Turismo's official post on Instagram about this update, basically asking them to release Spa and Silverstone and Trial Mountain. Now, does he have any insider knowledge? I would say unlikely. But it would be pretty cool if he did know something. You know, just something to give us a little crumb of hope that maybe these tracks were coming. But of course, ultimately, you know, we're not going to know this. But in all fairness, I did do some quick laps around the new tracks earlier, when the servers were still down. And I gotta say, I, for the most part, think they're quite good. Why do they give us crappy, crummy, little Japanese shoeboxes as prize cards? I have no idea. But you know, drove the new circuit, drove all the layouts. What I will say about them is, again, I think it's another solid addition to the circuit lineup. It's Polyphony Digital at their finest, developing really solid circuits. But I maintain that, from my perspective, and other people may feel differently, if they really want to have a very solid track list, not to say the track list isn't already solid, there are some key omissions from this track list. If you take a step back and think about it, there are some very key omissions from this track list. Spa is one of them. Now, personally for me, I'm not a massive fan of Silverstone, so I can take or leave Silverstone. I'm not going to necessarily be upset should they choose not to include Silverstone. I would much rather prefer them to include Deep Forest, Trial Mountain, Grand Valley, circuits that we as Gran Turismo fans are more familiar with. But if we do get Silverstone, I'm not going to be upset. You know, again, a strong, solid addition. But I think circuits like Goodwood and like this one, the first of 3 layouts added in this update for the Sardinia road course, I genuinely, honestly feel that they are leaving out some glaring omissions. Now, from what I understand... Whoa! Okay. That was... It's almost if all rear downforce just entirely let go of the car. Anyway, as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted by the car deciding to spin. Oy. Jesus, that was a terrible first couple of corners. That was awful. From what I understand, from an article I've read online, is that why this car for some reason really just doesn't feel suited to the just doesn't feel like it's sticking to the road in low speed corners. It honestly feels like the rear end just wants to entirely depart itself from any form of grip that you could... Whoops. Any form of grip this car has feels like it wants to entirely depart itself from the car as we go along the track, which is interesting. And I wanted to use the Toyota because of my boy Fernando Alonso, but now I'm starting to regret using the Toyota. Anyway, back to what I was saying. From what I understand, from an article I have read, Spa has been modelled for GT Sport. However, due to licensing disagreements with the owners of the circuit, they cannot yet put it in the game because the owners of the Spa circuit want Polyphony to pay out, and Polyphony are unwilling to pay the fee that Spa are asking for. Now, some people are saying, well, hold on a second, games like F1 2019 and Project Cars, they get Spa, so why can't Gran Turismo? Well, it's a case of scale, right? Slightly Mad Studios, who are the developers behind Project Cars, the circuit owners of Spa are going to know what they can afford to pay for it, so they adjust their licensing price accordingly. Whereas the owners of Spa know that Polyphony has a massive corporation behind them in Sony, so they feel they can get top dollar for their license, for their track. And in all fairness, you'd probably do the same if you were in their situation. You would probably want, if you were being approached by a company who has top dollar to include your product in a game, you would want to charge top dollar. So that's, to my current understanding, the reason why Spa isn't in the game. It is ready to go, from what I understand. But I feel you know, licensing is probably the biggest killer of video games and will continue to be the biggest killer of video games. Because if you take something like the PlayStation Classic, half the reason that they couldn't include a lot of very popular games, half the reason why they didn't include a Gran Turismo game, why they didn't include Tony Hawk, stuff like that, is because of licensing. It's one of the reasons why you will probably never see GoldenEye on an N64 Classic should they decide to make one. Because the licensing costs to license out the James Bond license at this point probably doesn't justify the means. And Nintendo would probably much rather spend that money on licensing for other games that they know they could get on said N64 Classic. It was suggested to me, however, and you know, I've never really played GoldenEye to know this. It was suggested to me, however, that because of just how crude the graphics are compared to current 3D graphics, why couldn't they just, for example, take GoldenEye on the N64, give it a different splash screen, call it something else, and basically not call it GoldenEye, because you wouldn't be able to tell with the character models that it looked anything like James Bond. And whilst I thought they could work for the multiplayer component, for the story, however, for the I'm assuming there is a campaign component to GoldenEye and N64, considering there was a remake of said game on Wii, PS3, and 360, that it probably wouldn't work so much for the campaign, because then you're literally telling the GoldenEye story, so therefore you're probably infringing on some level of copyright issues somewhere down the line. But I don't know. I'm not a licensing expert. I just go with the information that I'm told about said licensing things. Ooh, the Tomahawk thinks he's going to come back at me now, does he? Ooh, well, look at him. Ooh, now he's out in the gravel. Thinks he's so invincible now, does he? Oh, look at that, going up the inside. I bet he didn't see that coming. Go up the inside of the Alpine without spinning the car. Managed to gain control of the traction of the car into slow speed corners, but for the most part it's not a particularly fun car to drive at low speed. At high speed the car's actually brilliant. It grips and handles well, but at low speed not so much. Through the hairpin at the top of the circuit as I hit the wall. I will say, you know, we obviously just briefly talked about tracks before. I will say, this track has a great flow to it. You know, despite it's not one of the iconic tracks, it's actually a fun track to drive. Josh goes, hello, governor, how are ya? Hello is a very British, hello, the very British way of introducing yourself, my friend. That Audi has just got immense straight line speed. It's nuts. But it's the trifecta. You've got the Audi behind, Toyota in the middle, and the Porsche in front. Those three went up for Le Mans victories for years, until Audi pulled out, and then Porsche pulled out. And then you were left with nothing but Toyota. Josh says, I thought it was g'day. No, g'day is more Australian. Hello is much more British. G'day is much more Australian. Arguably a bit New Zealander as well, but we've definitely got that more from Australian English than English. But no, yeah, g'day is... G'day, mate. You know, very, very... That's quintessential Australian right there. If you want to sum up the Australian language in one sentence, g'day is your answer right there. G'day, g'day, g'day. Very famous Kath and Kim. It's an Australian television show about two bogan Australian women and their husbands. And one of the, I think it's Kim's husband, would walk down the street and say to the neighbours, "G'day, love, how's your father?" Now that became a running gag in my household last time my cousin came over from Australia, my older cousin, not my younger cousin. That was a running gag, a quite annoying one at that. Because my mum and my aunt are obsessed, well, they're not obsessed with that show, but they find it incredibly hilarious, even though it's actually the stupidest piece of shit you could ever have on television, next to those goddamn awful Housewives of Orange County programs. Those are awful as well. Oh, he's off. Use that to our advantage. And we're on the inside. And now we're on the outside, but he backed out. Beautiful. Now we're in first. Right on the verge of the final corner. The final real corner. The last kink. Even though it's like quite a sharp kink, you can take flat in these cars, so... Exhibit A. Josh says, next time I'm going to say g'day, mate, even though I'm not Australian. You're quite welcome to. I mean, you ain't going to offend me. I'm a Kiwi, so, I mean... Nothing about what you say to me about g'day or whatever is going to offend me in any way. All right, so another victory. We're going to swap out cars now because whilst I love the Toyota, whilst I do like the Toyota, it's a bit like the Mercedes F1 car in this game. If you get it to low speeds, the rear end gets very leery and not a lot of fun to drive. So we are going to swap over to the Audi R18. A far more enjoyable car to drive. See, it's funny. I'm a Formula 1 fan through and through. But I love prototype racing. I love LMP1 cars. I love GT3 cars as well. I'm a big fan of GT3 cars. Last year, I watched the entire 24 hours of Le Mans from, I think it was hour... I want to say hour 16 to hour 0. So I watched about 16 hours of it. And I'm pretty sure I did the same the year before. This year I didn't, however, because... Why didn't I watch all of Le Mans this year? Oh, yeah, because it was going to go to 1 o'clock in the morning, and it finishes on 1 o'clock in the morning on Monday morning here, and of course I have to get up at 6 in the morning to go to work, so... No, 6:30, so I would have only got 5.5 hours of sleep, which is not ideal, really. So therefore I decided not to stay up and watch it this year. Even though it would have been a great watch, especially that last hour when the number 7 Toyota got a puncture an hour before the end of the race, which allowed my boy Fernando to come through with the victory. Always good to see my boy Fernando winning. Love that man. Hope he comes back to Formula 1 in a competitive car so he can win another championship and show us the true talent that that man has. That's what I would hope, at least. Now, whether or not he does or not is... who knows. Weaving our way through a couple of Toyotas here. Approaching another Audi R18. Josh says, I got killed in the game because there was no audio cue where there's supposed to. I mean, sometimes you just got to be prepared for the unexpected, my friend. Even when you think there should be an audio cue or there should be one there, sometimes you just have to be prepared. Expect the unexpected. It often leads to your superior ability to expect the unexpected more than other people. Don't know where I was going with that, but sure, let's go with that one. Alright, 2nd out of 5 laps. I'm not a massive fan of this circuit. That being said, I do like the elements they've incorporated into the circuit, especially this first sector here. I love this first sector, provided you aren't wide when you do it. The first half of this lap is actually a lot of fun. It's the second half with, you know, those tight hairpins and the chicanes, which is not as fun as you'd like it to be. That's where this track really starts to fall apart. Why Polyphony are so insistent on making like these large joint tracks such as this one is beyond me. But, I mean, it works for what they're trying to do, but they're just annoyingly big and just not fun to drive sometimes. And sometimes they really lose their flow. Like this track, if you just run the version of this track without this little small circuit on the bottom of it, the track actually is an incredibly fun track to drive. But add that little squiggly bit at the bottom of the circuit and it's just kind of like, Oh, right on the inside, do a Danny Rick lunge, which didn't work out. 2.7 tenths, 2.7 seconds up. Josh says, if I had to be prepared, does that count 3 enemies, including the one that killed me on the mower every 10 seconds? Yes. Absolutely. Actually, I will say the convenient thing of actually doing 2 streams in one day and them not that being too far apart was that I didn't even have to close up most of my software. Didn't have to close up my chatbot, which was great. I only had to close up OBS just to sync the title that I'd done on Twitch. But otherwise I didn't have to sync it up. Didn't have to shut Snaz, which is my countdown timer software. Literally did not have to shut down anything basically in order to get this stream up and running, which was quite handy, I must say. It was a very handy thing to have. So, who knows? Might do more 2 streams in one day going forward. Depends on how much you guys like it. And I mean, because we've done now the GT Sport updates for the past few months now, kind of felt right to just keep doing them. Right, coming up to about 2 laps left to go. Closing down on the first place Porsche 919. Powering out, getting the slipstream. Might be a little bit too far back to use the slipstream effectively, but we'll definitely try. Battery is completely gone. And round the outside. And dab of brakes into the long left-hander. Use the downforce to hope the car actually stays on the track. In this case, the answer was nope. Now the Porsche's right on our tail. And he's going to outbrake us going into the hairpin. Oh, there he is. Josh says, oh really, say one character disables the thing. I need to defeat the other while the other one is about to hit kill me. Just expect the unexpected, my friend. That's all you can do. And just keep trying until you get it right. Keep trying until you get it right and expect the unexpected. Right, going for a lunge. Okay, maybe not. I started braking too early. Hoping to do a Danny Rick lunge on the inside of him, but I wasn't sure of the braking for that double apex right-hander. Whoop. Oh, that's one way to slow the car down. Just ram into the back of the Porsche. Alright, we got a lap left to overtake the Porsche. We get a good run off this final corner. We can slipstream the Porsche down the straight. So he's clearly got better straight line speed than what I do. Even into the slipstream, I'm not able to catch him. So I'm going to have to do all my talking through the corners. Exhibit A. Just variate the on power throttle. And then hit these S's like that to gain a little bit of distance, because clearly I'm better in the corners and he's better on the straights. So we need to get the balance just right. Coming down the hill. Taking another second off our fastest time. See, I'm telling you, in a game like F1 2019, consistency pays off. In a game like this, not really. You can be consistent, and I recommend that you do be consistent. But consistency is a pain. Especially when you consider, right, that, hey, shit like that happens. Even though you do that lap after lap after lap, you put your car in the exact same position, you brake in the exact same place, the car will just not behave in the way that you thought it would. So you're kind of left sitting there going, well, right, through the last couple of corners. Pushing out of the final hairpin, and to finish off the lap. Josh says, though the enemies in the game, which is called Mac Tonight, second anniversary, are Mac Tonight, Hamburglar, Ronald McDonald without the bottom jaw, Grimace, Speedy, Captain Crook, and Chris, a made-up character. That is like the weirdest character lineup. That's like the joke character lineup in a sitcom. You know, welcome to the Ronald McDonald Hour with Ronald McDonald, Grimace, Speedy, Captain Crook, and Chris. Let's go through them again. That's Ronald McDonald, Grimace, Speedy, Captain Cook, and Chris. You know, he's kind of like the Meg character, right? The one that everyone just takes the piss out of. Oh, please. Ugh. That Ferrari. Ugh. we need that Ferrari. And they give me a fucking Ford Mustang, one that I probably have 2 of. Let's find out. Manufacturer, Ford. Yeah, I now have 2 of them. Quay. Anyway, right. Okay, that's a thing. Right, now it's time for the grinding part of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're not a fan of grinding, just stick with us because it'll all be worth it in the end. At least I hope. Let's just check if there's any interesting things here that we might want to do. How much money do they award? 62 grand each. But then like the amount of money you get from them is rubbish. What's the new events in here? Lightweight K Cup. How about a no? Oh, but hold on. If I remember correctly, because the last update was so lackluster, if I remember this correctly, we left a whole bunch of events. Oh yeah, this is the one with the cars that cost like over 10 million credits. Josh says, though both Chris and Ronald are dead corpses that move around. Irregardless of what Chris's role is in the thing. Ooh. Now this is what I like. Irregardless of what Chris's role is within the sitcom, right? You know, it's like big fanfare, you know, Ronald McDonald, Grimace, Speedy, Captain Crook, Chris. You know, just, you get to Chris and everyone's just like, oh. Like, everyone's like, yay! Throughout the rest of the characters, and then they get to Chris, everyone's just like, oh. It's Chris. There's nothing special about Chris. Chris is Chris. No. Chris is Chris, and no one massively cares. That being said, you know, we should all be nice to Chris. I'm sure Chris is a nice guy. Yeah, so I completely forgot, if you watched the last GT Sports stream we did, because the last update was fairly lackluster in terms of new events and new content, even though it did include the Goodwood circuit, we didn't do a lot of them because they didn't feature Goodwood. The Goodwood circuit only featured in about like one of the new events that were added in the last update. So because of that, we didn't do any of them. Well, we did some, but we didn't do very many. But now, I don't feel so bad because the goal is to try and get that new Red Bull X 2019, which is actually something worth going after. And we've checked out the new track, but again, it's still the case, much like Goodwood, like they already have underutilized the track in GT League. And we can't do any sport mode racing with it because it won't be on the sport mode rotation at earliest until next week. So it kind of leaves the whole thing to be completely and utterly pointless as I go shooting off into the gravel. So, yes, I know, it's gaming time. I have a reminder set to my phone every night that reminds me to play games because sometimes I just don't. And it's really something I should get rid of because I'm gaming more now at the moment than what I was at the time that I created that reminder. So it's kind of, that reminder is completely and utterly pointless. Now this car, whilst I like it, it is temperamental. It's not a fun car to drive. And again, just like last time, there's a car off. the exact same one. Using more, thank you. Josh says, by the way, Mac Tonight, Speedy, Hamburger, Captain Croc and Grimace are forgotten characters by McDonald's. Mac Tonight, for good reason. He was used as a white supremacy character. Yeah. I don't really have much knowledge of the McDonald's characters. They don't really use them in branding over here in New Zealand much. I mean, they use Ronald McDonald, but they use him more as a charity symbol rather than anything else. And they used to use him a lot in commercials for kids, basically telling kids to fasten their seatbelts when they go in the car. You know, that's basically what they used Ronald McDonald for. Other than that, you know, Grimace and, you know, the Hamburglar and all those characters were not really big here in New Zealand. Well, they might have been before I was born, but they weren't that big when I was a kid, so. Sheesh. Really gotta push this car harder, otherwise nothing kind of happens. Devlin says, is this a new track? This one is not. This is Circuit de St. Croix. This was added, I want to say... I can't remember. No, the new road track is Sardinia. We will get back to that track soon, hopefully, my friend. So stick around for that. We will get back to the new track. But for the moment, we are just going through. If you're just joining the stream, guys, welcome along. Tonight, we are playing some GT Sport in honor of the new update. Right now, we're going through some of the GT League events that I haven't yet finished. Because from the last update, there were a few I left because the last update was so lackluster that I only played the game for a very small amount of time because I was just like, ugh. See, for me, I'm actually more excited about cars than tracks, even though, like, I'm a big track guy. I'm a much bigger fan of new cars than new tracks, personally. Devlin says, is that a classic open wheel car? Yes. This car in particular, as you can see, I have a skin on it based on the 1986 Williams. This is based on Ayrton Senna's 1985 Lotus, I believe. It's basically modeled. If you remember in GT6, there was the Senna content, and they had the 1985, or was it the 1986 Lotus? It was one of the two. It was one of the black and gold Lotuses that Senna drove at his time in Lotus, back in the mid-80s. And long story short, they couldn't get the licensing for that car again, so they just made it into the F1500T, which is just a generic classic open wheel race car. But it's dope, so. Devlin says, this track looks light, so when were they added? So this car, I believe, was added. Thank you very much for the follow as well, my friend. Greatly appreciated. This car was added, I believe. Ooh, now you're really testing my knowledge. It wasn't long after the game first came out. I think it was within the first 6 months of updates that that the car was released. Yeah, it was within the first 6 months of the game was this car released via the free updates. The track, on the other hand, I honestly can't remember, but it was added within the past 8 months. I know that. I honestly can't remember when exactly it was added. But, yeah, no. But no, this track's grown on me. When I first drove it, I wasn't a big fan of it, but this track definitely has grown on me. It can be kind of... If you drive like the really long version of the track, it can be kind of boring. But this version isn't so bad. I go too wide. Right, we got to close about 8 seconds and 2 laps. Josh says, I don't like racing games. Well, fortunately for you, my friend, I'm a variety streamer and not just a racing game streamer, otherwise you probably wouldn't be here. But I appreciate that you're here anyway. It's nice to see you. Devlin says, I never knew there were a classic open wheels in GT. Yeah, no, so this one was added a while back. It's the only one in the game, but I mean, it's the only one you really need. And of course, if you go back to games like GT3, a lot of if you had an American or Japanese copy of Gran Turismo 3, there was about 6 open wheel cars, and about 4 of them were quite old, classic, mid-80s Formula 1 type cars. So, no, it's been a while since classic open wheel races have been, well, classic, have been in Gran Turismo. But no, this one, it's a challenge to drive, that's for sure. It's quite a handful, but it is a very rewarding car to drive once you kind of master it. It's with anything kind of old race car-ish, is that it's got great mechanical grip, but the aerodynamic grip only really works at high speed. There's no low-end aerodynamic grip. And even though this car does have great mechanical grip, and it really does have great mechanical grip, you get to instances where you'll be going through a corner and the car just understeers like a troll. Alright, so we've got 3.5 seconds to close up on this lap. Can we do it? I don't know. They're up ahead of us, I can see them. They're scrapping between each other, which is good, because it means we'll be able to take advantage of them once we catch up to them. Provided we don't make a mistake, which is unlikely now that we've gotten past that first part of the circuit, unless we make a mistake going into that hairpin. And we should be good. Devlin asks, you can put any colours on them, can you? So obviously there's the livery editor, in which I'm running a Williams type livery, but yeah, if you just wanted to put a colour on them, you could put it on in the livery editor. Absolutely. So yeah, high degree of customization. I think I also have a McLaren livery for this. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't changed the livery on this in a while because I quite like the Williams one. Okay, we're down to the last few corners, and will we be able to catch up? That's one of them disposed of. Here we go. One car left. We're on the final lap. Oh, will he get the slipstream? Oh, it's tight. There we go. Oh, that was close. I think that was about 0.06 of a second. Yep. Plus 0.066 of a second. A finish that was right down to the wire. Alright. 8-lap race around Red Bull Ring. Oh, by the way, I should address. It was thought that there would be rain in this update because they showed it at the most recent GT World event. Unfortunately, it is not here. It is not present. Don't know why. Can't seem to understand. I genuinely thought that it would be here. The only thing that I can surmise is that what happened was that the rain that we saw at the GT World Tour event was from a a beta build of the next version of the game. So all the content that's in this update, the Renault, the 2 Toyotas, the new track, all that stuff was final. Like, it was done. But Rain, I would suspect they're not going to introduce until they've got it on most, if not all, the tracks. Apart from, like, the dirt and snow tracks, of course. What snow tracks? There are no snow tracks, but you get the point. I would imagine they're not going to release it until it's available on all the road courses and permanent circuits. So, disappointing that the Rain isn't here yet. I was definitely hoping for it. It would have been awesome if they had put Rain in this update, even if it was just for one track. I wouldn't have minded so much, but we'll have to wait a little longer. We know it's now coming, so we can take some reassurance in the fact that Rain is coming. It will just take a little bit longer to get here, and I'm willing to wait. If us having to wait for Rain means that we get it on most of the tracks, like 90% of the tracks, then I'm willing to wait. But if it means that we're only going to end up with Rain on 50 or 60% of the circuits, I'm going to be a little disappointed, not going to lie. But as we proved in my F1 2019 stream earlier today, me and Rain don't mix when it comes to driving. I'm fairly quick on a dry surface, but add a little bit of rain and any speed that I had just goes. Any talent that I have as a semi-competent console-based racing driver just goes in a split second. Remember guys, if you do want to get in on some F1 2019 multiplayer racing, we'll be doing a stream on Saturday for that. Add me on PSN at Bud4211, that's BUD4211, and we shall be doing some multiplayer racing on Saturday for our Saturday stream. And also don't forget guys, starting Monday, brand new stream schedule. Don't know what days yet, but I can confirm that times will be about 2:45, 3 o'clock in the afternoon New Zealand time. So we'll be bringing the start of the streams forwards by about 4 hours. Which will make it good for a lot of you guys who live in the States, and for those who live anywhere that isn't Europe, basically. For the European viewers, it's not so great, but I'm definitely looking into ways that we can accommodate you as well. Josh goes, boo, I want my refund. I was promised Rain. In all fairness, we weren't promised Rain when the game came out. When the game was launched, Rain was not promised. It was said to be in the works, but it was not promised. And then now that we've seen it, we know it's coming. So it's definitely coming. So I wouldn't necessarily, like, I don't want my refund on this game. I've gotten over 100 hours of playtime out of GT Sport so far. And I've loved 95 of those hours. So I'm quite happy with my purchase of this game, and it's only gotten better. And despite the fact that it's very easy to critique and criticize the free content that we've gotten now for over 18 months, I don't know of any other game on the market that continuously and consistently has delivered so much content for free 18 months post-launch. Now, there could be a game, and I'm not counting Fortnite, because Fortnite is just not my cup of tea, and a game I never plan to play. But in terms of a game like this, of this caliber, of this quality, you know, I can't think of any other AAA top tier quality game that for 18 months post-launch continued to receive updates and free content. You know, I'm sure there were some games that got paid content 18 months after launch. I can think of Call of Duty Black Ops 3, for example. But, you know, that got the Zombie Chronicles pack, which I bought, you know, because I love Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies. Bang. Good thing about Gran Turismo is you can get away with a little bit of argy-bargy, and I don't feel as bad as I do in F1. Josh says, tea is not my cup of tea. I don't like tea either, my friend. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink tea. I don't drink, you know, it's always so funny. I'll go over to people's houses and they go, oh, do you want tea, coffee? And I'll be like, no, thank you. And they kind of look at me funny. They're like, you don't want, like, do you drink either? And I'm like, no. And people are genuinely surprised that I do not drink coffee or tea, that I'm nearly 22. God. Yeah, they're so surprised that I'm nearly 22 and I don't like tea or coffee. I don't like the taste of either of them. I like a good hot chocolate, but I do not like tea or coffee. I don't like most soft drinks either, or as you call them in the States, sodas. You know, I don't like most soft drinks either. I think the only two soft drinks I drink are Lift and Fanta. I don't like other soft drinks. Devlin asks, any New Zealand tracks in game? Whilst that would be amazing, unfortunately not. The closest we get is Bathurst, Mount Panorama, which of course is the famous Australian track, home of the Bathurst 1000 every year. Yeah, no, so that's the closest we get. We get a track from Australia in the form of Bathurst, but no. If you go and play Project Cars 2, Project Cars 2 does have Ruapuna, which is a track based in Christchurch, which is in the South Island of New Zealand. But the only other track that you could possibly include is Pukekohe Park Raceway, which is here in Auckland. Unfortunately, it's probably not as well internationally known to warrant it, but then again, who the fuck gives a shit about Willow Springs? So, you know, who knows? There's hope for us yet, maybe. That maybe one day they'll include a New Zealand track. But who knows? We'll see. Josh says, hashtag tea is not my tea. That's not a bad hashtag. Go start that on Twitter. Devlin says, I think most alcoholic drinks are disgusting. And I'm fully with you. I'm not a big drinker. I don't really drink that much. I like the odd beer, but that's really about it. Like, I'll have a bit of vodka here and there, but most alcohol I can only drink after I've mixed it with soft drink or juice, because I need the sweetness to hide the quite bitter taste of alcohol. But otherwise, I can't. Beer is the only alcohol that I can drink on its own. Anything like vodka or tequila or gin or anything like that, I need to mix it with something, because the taste just makes me, it's just disgusting. So yeah, I'm not a massive fan of alcohol either, my friend. Josh says, misspelled if it's supposed to say, misspelled that it's supposed to say hashtag tea is not my cup of coffee. That's still a good hashtag, and you should go start that on Twitter and see how... Everybody go tweet that on Twitter, see if we can get that trending, and then everyone's going to go, what the hell's this come from? And then they can come to our channel and join our community. And come join our awesome game streams. Tio Rock says, I'm 13. Well, it's nice to meet you, my friend. I remember when I was 13. That was a long time ago. Nearly 10 years. When I was 13, I was a nerd. I still am a nerd. I was just starting high school. Would have been in my first year. High school. Yeah, no, it would have been in my first year of high school. Yeah. It was fun though, you know, a simpler time. I look back on when I was 13 and it was a simpler time back then. Nothing was complicated. Nothing was complicated when I was 13. But there you go. Josh says, not coffee. Tea. Oh, I misread it. I'm sorry, my friend. I'm trying to drive and read people's chats at the same time. So, you know, I'm multitasking here. You know what they say, you should never text and drive. Well, this is literally like basically texting and driving, except the only difference is if I crash here, nobody gets hurt. If I crash in the real life, I get hurt, someone else could get hurt. You know, shit can happen. Teo Rock says, girl or boy? If you're asking if I think you're a girl or a boy, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not going to assume your gender. Doesn't, to be brutally honest, to me it doesn't matter what you choose to identify as personally. I've got a trans friend, very good friend at that. Type R says, nice, you drive in my home country. I was born in Styria and grew up 30 miles from there. Styria, is that in New Zealand? Oh, no, sorry, Austria, of course. Oh, cool. Well, on behalf of all in New Zealand, I would like to say hello to you, Type R. A hello from New Zealand to Austria. No, I like the Red Bull Ring. I think it's a great track. It's one of my favorite tracks on the F1 calendar. I love the Red Bull Ring. I always have. It's fast-paced, it's great. And thank you very much, Type R, for the follow. All right. Okay, what we're going to do now is we are going to grind out that last... We're going to grind out that last 1,000,000 credits so we can get the Red Bull X 2019 so we can get the Red Bull X 2019 car and do that in 30 lap enduro. Type R says, I was driving a KTM crossbow on that track. And in real life, it's really harder. Oh, yeah, I'm sure it is. Like, I'm sure it is. You know. Josh, can you please stop pinging everybody in the chat? Thank you. That is on the verge of spam, and spam is no. Yeah, no, I'm sure the track is, like, really difficult to drive. In real life. But, you know, I thoroughly enjoy that track to drive, especially in the F1 cars. In the F1 cars, it's a great track to drive. Alright, so, for those of you who are unaware, GT Sport, not the greatest in terms of getting of the currency, so the best thing to do is you grab a McLaren F1, you bring it here to this Blue Moon Base Speedway event, you go around the track about 15 laps, and you gain about 300,000 credits. So we're going to be doing that to grind to get the Red Bull X 2019. And there goes our clean race bonus. Oh well. Tio says, I'm about 50 miles into Lagos. Now, that is a track that I love as well. It will be sad to see it go from the F1 calendar in a couple of years. However, I saw the layout for the new Rio de Janeiro track they're going to build, and I quite like it. I think it looks dope. A lot of people were saying, oh, it's a Herman Tilke design track. It looks like crap. I think it looks awesome. I'm really looking forward to that. So I am really looking forward to driving that track in what will, I'm assuming, be F1 2021. So, no, but Interlagos is a great track. I love it. One of my favorite, much like Red Bull Ring, one of my favorite F1 tracks. Fast, flowing, an old school circuit. You know, of course, great memories of the legend Senna himself driving around that track, winning. Of course, that famous victory where You know, he crossed the line after his car getting stuck in 5th gear, had to manage, I think, quite a large percentage of the race stuck in 5th gear. It's very lucky to do that. Came out of that car with huge cramps, massive cramps, massive cramps. So no, but you know, great images from Interlagos in the past. Well, our clean race bonus is gone, but I don't really care right now. I'm just focused on grinding out this money. Type Art says, thanks for the greeting, but I live now in Bavaria, Germany. But I also send a greeting to the most beautiful country on this planet, New Zealand. Thank you very much, my friend. Yes, you know, we tend to be, this country tends to be highly regarded as one of the most beautiful countries on the planet. However, for me, it's just home. You know, I've been to places like, when I went to the UK a couple of years ago, I thought that country was utterly stunning. The vistas, the countryside was utterly beautiful. I loved it. Going to Japan in, you know, always wanted to go to Japan, and I'm going in February next year, and I'm really looking forward to it because, again, from what I understand, that's one of the most beautiful countries in the world. You know, whilst there are some absolutely stunning landscapes here in New Zealand, and I've been to some of them, and they're absolutely stunning. You know, when I went to England and saw that English countryside for the first time, you know, went to Belgium and saw places like, you know, Passchendaele and, you know, some of the old war stuff from there, and just the beauty of places like the Menin Gate, I was like, you know, this world truly can be a beautiful place, you know, when we, you know, when we're all getting along, this world can be a truly beautiful, beautiful place. And it's always great to see just fantastic architecture and nice people and all that good stuff. Seems like Tio Rock also agrees with me that Japan is one of the most beautiful countries in the world, and I'm so looking forward to going there and not only buying up a shit ton of retro video games, but just being able to go to that country and to see some of the temples and the architecture and the landscape. Mount Fuji especially, to be able to see that in person for the first time, I think is going to absolutely blow me away, because Mount Fuji, I think, is one of the most spectacular sights in the world. So yeah, really am looking forward to that trip with great enthusiasm. It just sucks that it's all the way in, you know, in February next year, and we're only just about to enter July, so, you know, still got some time to wait, but it'll all be worth it in the end when I get to go and experience that lovely, lovely country. Type R says, hey, be careful with the Honda NSX. I will try to be, my friend. That is a very nice car. The Honda NSX is a beautiful car. I do prefer the old NSX though, not gonna lie. Whilst the new Honda NSX does look nice and is very fun to drive in Gran Turismo, I do prefer the older style NSX. I think it looks fantastic, and it's just awesome. Teo says, I was driving a KTM. Yeah, the KTM Crossbows are a very fun car to drive. I do enjoy driving them a lot. Type R says, yeah, Japan is my second favorite land because they build Hondas there. Yeah, exactly. They also, I don't know, I can't remember whether or not, trying to remember whether or not they stopped manufacturing of Honda Civics in the UK. I know they were building Civics in the UK for a few years, but I'm not sure if they've stopped that now. But no, yeah, they do most of their production in Japan. And Honda, you know, Honda's a great company. You know, and hey, they're showing some good strengths in Formula 1 this year, being with Red Bull. The engine's been reliable, you know, it's been quite powerful as well, you know. So Honda's started to come right in F1, which is good, because, you know, we need that in F1. We need 3 or 4 competitive engine manufacturers in F1. You know, it's what we need to make F1 great again. Tio says, I love Japanese food. Sushi, teriyaki, shoyo, and wasabi. Yeah, I love teriyaki chicken, man. Oh, who doesn't love teriyaki chicken? Teriyaki chicken is the shit. It's so nice. Love teriyaki chicken. Love it. But yeah, what's actually funny is I'm not actually a massive fan of sushi. I'm actually going to have to start learning or start eating it though, you know, to go to Japan and be able to eat. But as I've said to my friend who I'm going to Japan with, there's always McDonald's, you know. When in doubt, I'm sure there's a Big Mac somewhere that I can eat, you know. But I'll probably just get very fat eating McDonald's all the time. So it's probably a good idea to maybe eat some sushi. Type R says, I was driving the new one NSX. What the hell? That car is really crazy cool. Yeah, and I mean, it's on the cutting edge of current technologies for, you know, cars that you get on the market. And I'm really glad that the Japanese have not gone the way of a lot of European companies and started putting electric motors or started making purely electric models. Like, they're sticking with an internal combustion engine in the NSX, and thank God for it, because you cannot have an NSX that's electric. It is blasphemy. To have an electric NSX is blasphemy and just wrong. Utterly, utterly, utterly wrong. But, you know, it's unfortunately, it's the way it seems the world is going, even though I don't agree that electric is the future, but anyway. Type R says they also don't build and sell the Accord here in Europe. Yeah, it's quite funny sometimes when car manufacturers, you know, they decide where they're going to sell certain models. I don't even know. I'm pretty sure you can buy a Civic brand new here in New Zealand, but I don't know what other Hondas you can buy brand new here in New Zealand. That being said, I haven't actively gone looking out to buy a brand new car, you know. So, you know, maybe one day I will, you know, go and look at what the brand new Hondas are available. But yeah, for me, I don't know what Hondas are available brand new here in New Zealand. But it'd be interesting to see if the Accord was. That'd be an interesting one. Type R also says the new Civic Type R is also hot stuff. Yeah, I have seen a couple in my local Honda showroom down in town, and I will agree, they do have a nice ass. They got a nice ass. Those Civics have a nice ass. Tio says my favorite food is Brazilian. From, oh god, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of this. From Goiás, Brazil? I've probably butchered that completely. Apologies, Tio. Papicho is one of many delicious foods here. Again, I'm probably butchering the pronunciation on all these Brazilian words, so apologies there, Tio. But I've never had Brazilian food. But I have heard of tapicho, tapico. I don't know what it's fucking called. But yeah, no, I've heard of that before, but I've never tried Brazilian food. I didn't even think you can get Brazilian food here in New Zealand. I've never seen it. I'm sure somewhere you can. I've just never seen it. Like, I'd definitely like to try the tapioca. Oh wait, oh, it's tapioca, I think. Wait, isn't tapioca the butt of that fucking Whose Line Is It Anyway joke? Where Colin's like, tapioca. Why is it... Now I just learned how to... Why is it Whose Line Is It Anyway is teaching me how to pronounce Brazilian words? Well, in actual fact, in Brazil they speak Portuguese, so I know that for a fact. Type R says the Germans are stupid here. They buy in their own country, build cars more expensive than other people have to pay for the same car. Never drive a German car as expensive and quality is really bad. Which is ironic, because the Germans would argue that everything is perfect and we are the best car makers in the world. Everything in these German cars are perfect and must not be offended. We build the best cars here in Germany, and no other cars are better. My really bad German accent, by the way, but you get the point. Alright, so we are now about 800,000 credits away from getting our Red Bull X 2019, so hopefully we'll only have to do this grinding a few more times. Maybe 2-3 more times, depending on whether or not we can get the clean race bonus. If we can get the clean race bonus, we'll only have to do this race, I think, maybe another couple of times, and then we should be good. So, guys, just joining the stream, guys. Welcome along. I hope you're doing well wherever you're joining us today in the world. We are currently grinding away at getting some credits to buy the X 2019 Red Bull competition model to do the 30-lap endurance race at Autopolis. Because that's what it's all about. It's all about doing 30-lap endurance races, and I quite like doing 30-lap endurance races, especially of that track in particular. I love Autopolis. It's a great circuit. I love it a lot. That was one of the additions that, even though it was an outside edition, Autopolis was one of the editions where I was like, now that I approve. That I approve. Because they're adding Super Formula at the same time. So it made sense, right? Add Super Formula, you add Autopolis, it made sense. And by the way, the Super Formula car is like my go-to test car in Gran Turismo. Whenever there's a new track now, I go straight into the Super Formula car. I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Part says, I had a 3-year-old VW for 2 years. I put more money into that car for repair in the 2 years as the price was to get it. Never again gonna buy German crap again. Yeah, you know, my sister drives a VW. My dad drives a Porsche. And my stepmom also drives a VW. I, on the other hand, drive a Holden, which is built in South Korea. So, you know, you can argue into the inside, clean race bonus, thank you. You can argue, you know, whether or not my dad and my stepmom and my sister have bad taste or not. But I know I don't want a VW, and I know I definitely don't want a Porsche. So, you know. Tio says, Mercedes is my favorite team on F1, and then follows up with, sorry, I don't know English is too hard. You're doing a very good job, my friend, so far. I've been quite impressed. For someone who claims they don't know English, you've been doing a fantastic job so far. So props to you, my friend. You've been doing fantastic on your English. And whilst I may disagree with you on the Mercedes being the best F1 team, let's just agree to disagree. Because I'm a Ferrari fan through and through. When I went to the Australian Grand Prix this year, I was rooting for my boy Sebi Vettel in the Ferrari. I'm not a Mercedes fan. Not a Mercedes fan. Which is okay, that's not strictly true. I like Bottas. I hate Hamilton. Hate him. Can't stand Hamilton. That being said, there's a number of drivers on the F1 grid I can't really stand. So, actually, that being said, there's probably not many. Hamilton is probably the only F1 driver I'm truly like, I hate him. I just do not like Hamilton whatsoever. Which is funny. But, yeah. Not a Hamilton fan. I used to be, though. When he wasn't awful. Typar said, so I have to go now. We will see us again maybe here on your channel. Or in mine, Let's Play channel. See ya and have fun in Excelsior. Well, Excelsior to you too, my friend. And great to chat with you this evening. And yes, I hope to see you again soon. It was great fun chatting to you. Tia says, Hamilton will be the best driver in the world. I really hope not, because I'm a Schumacher fan as well. And I don't want to see Hamilton overtake Schumacher as the best driver in the world. I love Schumacher. But for me, my favourite racing driver, hands down, if you take the records out of it, if you go on pure talent alone, Senna is my favourite driver. Full stop. In my opinion, Senna was the best driver ever to grace a race car. Full stop. He had the most God-given talent to win. You know, when he was on the track, no one could beat him, pretty much. And even when they got close, they never beat him by much. Senna, in my mind, was truly, and is truly, the greatest driver that ever lived. And what's funny about hearing, you know, if you dig a little deeper into Senna's story, you actually discover that he was going to sign for Ferrari. And if you consider that he probably would have won the title in 94, he probably would have won the title in 95 had he stayed with Williams. Had he moved to Ferrari in 1996, he probably would have won the title in 97, 98, 99. Oh, there goes our clean race bonus. Thank you, you stupid Honda. He would have won about 7, 8 titles. So, Teo says, here in Brazil, it's 4:08 a.m. Go to bed, my friend. You know, I appreciate that you're here, absolutely. I'm glad that you're here watching and chatting along with me, but please, you know, sleep is far more important. Sleep is an important commodity in the world. You must need it. You must use it. You must take advantage of it. Oh, pardon me. My throat is starting to get quite dry. I've talked a lot today across the 2 streams so far. Need to take a sip of water at some point. Ugh, need to take a sip of water to re-lubricate the back of my throat. It's amazing how much of a gap we're pulling out on the other cars, and we're in a car that is half the power, apparently, you know. Admittedly, we are driving on super soft racing tyres, and the tyres do not degrade, which helps massively. So that is working for us, but yeah, it amazes me how we're able to build out such a gap. The other thing that's really impressive is kind of just look at our consistency, you know. Most of our laps in the 45s, 45.7, 45.6, 45.1, 45.6, 45.0, 45.0, 45.2, you know, very consistent lap times. Throughout the race so far. Which is interesting because about half an hour ago I was bitching about how you can't really be consistent in this game. There's another lap time in the 45-second range. 45.1. So only a few more laps to go left of this race. We'll see where we are in terms of our money. Tia says, I hope Schumacher can be normal again. Yeah, so do I. It's really sad what happened to him. And, you know, yeah, but that's what he was. He was a risk taker. You know, he liked to live on the edge. I mean, you don't spend half your life driving cars at over 300 kilometers per hour and then get taken out by a rock. You know? There's something really cruel about how that happened. Like, there's something really cruel about that, isn't there? Like, you spend your life going around the racetrack at 300 k's an hour and you get taken out by a rock. It's really sad. And yeah, I hope he does recover and come back to us. You know, medical science, however, is only so far evolved. But in all fairness, he is kind of defying medical science. You know, he's still alive and his body is still keeping him functioning and his brain is able to do the job that it needs to keep him going. And, you know, from that perspective, you know, he's a fighter and he will fight. You know, but I often worry to myself that one day I'm just going to wake up and, you know, it will be on the news that he's passed, and it will be a sad day. It will be a sad day when Michael Schumacher passes, if he passes because of his brain injuries. It'll be a sad day. But anyway, last lap. I can now take a sip of water. Lubricate my throat. Alright, so we need another. But actually, if we go claim, let's go claim that medal. See if that brings us some dosh. We got to hit that 3 million. Got to hit that 3 million. Right, medal. Here we go. Wow. No money. Cool. Thanks. So I put 137 hours into this game. And I've driven, out of those 137, I've driven 100 hours in this game. That is nuts. Let's see. So we don't have to spend most of the stream literally driving around in a circle. Let's see if there is a car that we can sell for some money. You know, hold on. Let us sort by manufacturer. Let's look for duplicates. Let's look for doubles. Of course, we can't sell gift cards. But we need to sell like some high valued cars. Well, that works. We'll sell this to get the X2019. Sacrifice one to benefit another. Beautiful. I genuinely thought, because I was like, fuck, I don't want to have to grind for this car. So I thought, maybe I just cave into the microtransactions, eh? It's going to cost me $8 for one car. And when I saw that, I was like, nah, we ain't doing that. I'm not that desperate. I ain't that desperate for the car. We'll grind. You know, we will grind our way to the car. But before we do, let us jump here into the new track. For those who are just joining and want to see the new track, we'll jump into this quickly and do this race so people can see the new track, see what the new track's all about. Tio, thank you very much for the follow, my friend. Greatly appreciated. But yeah, so for those of you just joining, we're going to do a race on the brand new track in the game, so you guys can have a look at it. This is the B, so this is the second of 3 layouts. So this is the not the long one, it's not the short one, it's the one in the middle. It's Sardinia Road Track B. Of course, if you caught the start of the stream, we did Sardinia Road Course A. So, and now we're doing B. In the Group B rally cars, which is ironic because these cars hardly get an opportunity to shine in this game. So it's always good to take these cars out for a spin. It's so funny, the idea of having a Nissan GTR rally car. It doesn't fit. It's bizarre. It's weird. Speaking of weird, this car just feels like it wants to just slide all over the place. Get out of the... Even though we're in a rally car, we don't want to get in the gravel, thanks. Tio Rock says, no way, dude. I want this car with a strangely suggestive baby moaning face. At least that's what it looks like from my end. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but... Anyway. That face is quite creepy. It's actually interesting. You get these rally cars off the track. And they still have the grip, which is hilarious. It's almost as if the car wants to actually be driven off the road rather than on the road. Hey, wide. Why the hell they stuck us on sport soft tires when these cars clearly should be on race tires is beyond me. Look, the car still accelerates on the gravel. Well, sort of. Sort of, kind of, not really. Tio Rock says, I don't hope Williams? I'm assuming you're referring to Williams, the F1 team, my friend, because if you are referring to their blatant lack of pace this season, then yeah, it's pretty bad. If you're not referring to that, then sorry for the misunderstanding, my friend. Right, we gotta gain some time. Yeah, we gotta pump it. Louder. Pump it. Louder. Good. If we're in a rally car, we might as well take advantage of the off-road to overtake. Use a lot of curb on the inside. Try not to spin the car in the gravel, or just try not to crash. That ideally tends to work as well. Wow, that Audi Sport Quattro has got a massive lead on us. Oh well, we're not looking to win the race. We're just looking to give some of you guys who are just joining the stream an opportunity to look at the new track. Mick Killer says, no rain. Unfortunately not, my friend. Rain was not included in the update in the end, which is disappointing. But as I was saying earlier in the stream, if it means that we get rain on more of the tracks than just 1 or 2, then I'm willing to wait. So, yeah, but unfortunately no rain in the new update, which is sad. You know, it's disappointing. Would have been cool to have it, but no, unfortunately no rain. No rain yet. It's coming, but not yet. Unfortunately, I can't provide you with any more information than that, my friend. If anyone's watching this from Polyphony Digital, want to give me some insider information. My lips are sealed. I'm good at sticking to NDA agreements. And then I'm good at just not revealing things when I'm told things in confidence. Like, for example, Planet Zoo. I was told about that 3 months before it was even leaked. I knew of that game's existence at the beginning of the year, then it got leaked in March, and then it got revealed a few weeks, like a couple days later. I knew of that game's existence very early on in the piece. So, and for those of you who are wondering what the hell I'm talking about by Planet Zoo, it's the new spiritual successor to Zoo Tycoon that has been made by the same people who make Planet Coaster, Frontier Developments, and I'm very much looking forward to that game. And probably will be doing a series on it on this very channel, so keep an eye out for that, but I don't think the game comes out till November? So, yeah, have to wait. It's actually not that expensive, it's only about 55 bucks. Which, by the way, for like a brand new game of that level in New Zealand, 55 bucks is a fucking steal. No games brand new at the caliber of Planet Zoo are 55 feckin' dollars. Even though I think, what was the game? Oh yeah, Medieval's coming out at 55, but Medieval is not to the level of Planet Zoo. Probably doesn't even have the production value that Planet Zoo will have in it. Probably. I don't know. You know, from what I've seen of Planet Zoo so far, that game looks amazing. But yeah, I knew about that game's existence for ages. So yeah, the point is, Polyphony Digital, if you're listening, I'm good with insider information should you wish to give me any. You know, particular information about one deep forest trial mountain in Gran Valley would be greatly appreciated. Teo says, I was born in Sudan and I come to Brazil, and today I live in the Pacific Ocean. I.e., you live on an island in the Pacific Ocean, or you just live in the ocean? Under the sea. Sorry, I couldn't help it. That kind of was an open door invitation, really. Under the sea. Right, can we catch the Audi? We have fun lap to do it. My bet is no, but I'm not really out looking to win the race either. But we have gained quite a bit of distance, but with the car behind, so, I mean... Teo says, my house is in the ocean. Well, if you'd like to talk me through how you make your house float, then please do let me know. I'd also like to know how you have internet connectivity, how you have access to video games, and how you have access to money. And once you've fulfilled all those criteria for me, I shall like to join you in living out in the sea, in a house, away from everybody. Oh, we're close, we might get him. Look at the wings on the back of that car. That is so unnecessary. The wings on the back of that car are so unnecessary. You don't need that much downforce on a rally car. Oh well, we got close. Teo says, I play with Nemo. Nemo is my PS4. Genuine question for people in the chat. Do you name your consoles? Because I don't. Like, I've never named a console in my life. But it would be interesting to know if people in the chat, like, do you name your consoles? And if so, what do you call them? Alright, so. Endurance race time, my friends. Here we go. 30 laps. Autoopolis. In the Red Bull X 2019 competition. Guys, join the stream. Guys, welcome along. Hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are in the world. If you join us right now, we're just about to do a 30-lap endurance race around Autoopolis in the Red Bull X 2019 competition. If you are new here to the channel, guys, I hope you are enjoying your time here. Please do consider potentially either following or subscribing. And if you are a returning viewer, make sure you do share the stream, guys. Share the channel. Really do appreciate everything you guys have done. It's been a fantastic day so far for the channel. Got my first subscriber, which was awesome. So big thank you to you guys out there. Tia says the Xbox players are a lot of nibbers. I see what you've done there. It's clever. But good censorship. Good censorship. Well, it might pain you to know that I own an Xbox. And an Xbox 360. And an Xbox One. I own all the Xboxes. I own a lot of the gaming hardware. I'm what you might call a collector of the video games. So I own multiple consoles. Joined with Shah. Actually, I do want to exit this race because I want to be put on the hard tires, not the medium tires. I like the racing. I like the hard tires. I don't like soft compound tires in this game. For the racing tires, I stick to the hard tires. No, yeah, I'm a game collector, so I have a lot of the consoles. You know, I have an original Xbox 360, Xbox One. I own a Switch. I own a PS4, PS3, PS2, PS1. Yeah, I've got quite a few consoles. I do agree that the Xbox is definitely not as powerful and has a far worse interface than the PS4. But I like my Xbox. It's got some good games, and I'm a massive Halo fan, so I've been playing the original Halo since I was 5. Returning viewers will know that all too well. Me and my best friend, who I used to live next door to as a kid, we used to get home from school every day and we'd go over to his place. He had an original Xbox and we'd play the shit out of Halo. And I was 5. And this was at a time when Halo was R16 in New Zealand. So you couldn't get your hands on a copy if you were under the age of 16. And we were 5. So, but hey, you know, it didn't damage me. So my brain is still fine. Right, so we have 30 laps to get from first. Oh, actually, I need to put down the fuel map to 3 in order to run my strategy. Tio says Red Bull is worse than Tomahawk. I find I can't drive the Tomahawk. You know, I really find that I can't drive the Tomahawk. Yeah, I struggle to drive that car, especially like the full out, like 2,000 horsepower version of it. Holy crap. What the hell happened there? Well, that was a pain. Yeah, no, I find the Red Bulls a lot easier to drive, but not the really fast, like, fan version of the car. That's not easy to drive. That one's a pain. But this version is not that difficult, apart from when it decides to have random snap oversteer right in the middle of a corner because the rear loses all its grip. That is not so fun. Alright, so we have 50 odd seconds to make up in about 28 odd laps. Shouldn't be too difficult. I mean, the key thing is he's probably pushing out there on racing soft tires on the highest fuel map. He's probably just gunning it, right? Our job is to be a little bit more conservative, get on a tire that can last a little longer, and to go on a fuel map that can allow us to do less stops. That's the idea. Tio says, I think that this Red Bull is like GT5 Red Bull. Not this one. The GT5 Red Bull still had the fan attached to it, which just sucked it to the ground. This one relies purely just on diffusers and... yeah, this one's just more fuses and ground effect type car rather than the because if you stuck the GT5 Red Bull X 2010 out in that gravel trap, the fan would just blow gravel out the back of the car. So you just end up with this dust cloud behind you. Right, coming up to a pack of competitors here. Thank you for the tap. Teo says, sound looks like 2004 F1. Well, these cars are running V12 engines apparently, so yeah, they will have that high-pitched squeak. And I mean, they are revving to over 18,000 RPM, so they're bound to have that high-pitched squeal, absolutely. Definitely closer to the V10s of 2004. Let's do the V8s. The V8s, while still had that high-pitched squeal, was slightly a bit more throaty. It still had a good bass end, whereas the V10s and the V12s were just pure, just scream, you know, pure high-end scream. Look, car's already in the pits. If we can do about 2 pit stops, and then in that last stint really just push, we'll be in a good position. I mean, the thing is that even though the guy in front is gaining a little bit of time on us here and there, his actual net gains, when you consider that he'll probably have to pit, you know, maybe a couple times more than me, will actually completely and utterly wear out by the time we get to the end of the race. In theory. So, let's see how the theory ends up working out by the time we get to the end of the 30 laps. So far, yeah. I don't know how confident I am that, you know, right now it doesn't look great, but I've been in worse situations, I think. I hope. I don't remember the last time I ran an endurance race in this game. It was probably not the last update in May. It would have been the update before that in April. I probably ran one. So, but you know, the positive is that if he is the guy who set the fastest lap of a 1:31.4, at least he's not pulling away from us by four seconds a lap, right? That's the other benefit, is that he's not pulling away at a massive rate of knots. So, it's only good news right now. A little wide, but that's okay. Car behind us looking a little racy. Tiagos, you play on PS4? Most of the time, yes. I'm currently playing on PS4. My main console is PS4, despite the fact that I have a deluge of other consoles. But yes, my main console is the PS4. Ah, fuck. Bastard. Shit, now we gotta get that position back. Aye. Right. We've got to gain back our time that we lost, as well as our positions. Kind of surprised the guy in first hasn't pitted yet. Yep, Teo, I will add you after the stream, my friend. And remember, guys, if you do want to add me on PSN, my gamer tag is Bud4211. That's BUD4211. Should you wish to add me on PS4 or Steam or Xbox Live. Nintendo works a little differently. Because it's Nintendo and Nintendo is special. Tiago, so we can play tomorrow. Unfortunately not, my friend. Tomorrow I am flat out busy all day. I'm not at home I will not be at home from about 7 a.m. tomorrow till about after 9 p.m. tomorrow, so I don't know if I'll be able to. But on Saturday, we are doing a multiplayer stream for F1 2019. So if you guys have got a copy of F1 2019 and you want to do some multiplayer, we're going to be doing that on Saturday. On PS4, of course. Okay. We're starting to make positions. Alright, guy in first is finally pitting. So he's pitting every 8 laps. So 8. So he's going to have to make at least 3 stops. And ideally, we're going to only have to end up making about 2. So that's good news for us. So we're going to save a decent amount of time. We're going to save a decent amount of time in the end, which will be good. I don't believe he's 56 seconds ahead. I don't believe it. No way he can be. Right, all those guys are popping off into the pits. We've got another 2 laps worth of fuel, so that's good news for us. Going to be able to go to about lap 11 before we have to change change tires, put some fuel in the car. And of course, remember now, we're still on equalised time. So even after we pit, we'll actually be on non-equalised time. So we need to push now. Right, we're going to have another lap on this current set of fuel. Alright. One more lap, and then in the pits. Right. And then what we'll do is we'll make sure that we only get enough fuel for about 10 laps. And then the final stop, we'll get as much fuel as possible, turn up the engine, and just go for it. Alright, round the hairpin, down the hill, another car in sight. The good thing is, actually, we're gaining a bit of time, so that is good news. Starting to get a lot more comfortable with the car, which is also good, meaning that we'll actually be able to push slightly more and gain time. So again, right now we're still in equalised time. Once we get into this pit cycle, once I pit, we'll be back to uneven time, and then he'll pit again on lap 16, in which we will get... Alright, so yeah, stick with the hards. So we want 10 laps of fuel. If the car will take 10 laps of fuel. Oh, okay, well, a full tank is 10 laps of fuel. So, hopefully... Okay, so now that we're out, we've actually gained positions in that pit stop cycle. So before the pit stop cycle we were 14th. Now we're gonna be 11th. So we will have gained 3 positions net, which is good. So again, that means we're making progress through the field. And our lap times for the 3 laps before we pitted were actually fairly consistent. So if we can continue with that consistency, then we should be able to make really good gains into the leader. Hopefully, this tank of gas will last us to lap 20. That's the target we need to hit. If I need to go a little less on the fuel, then I will. If I have to lower the fuel map to ensure that we hit lap 20, get to lap 20, then I will. The only disadvantage that I can see about potentially lowering the fuel map is that we do not want to run into a position where on the last stint we are having to conserve fuel. Ideally, in the last stint, we want to push a little bit more to gain as many positions as possible. Right, approaching new couple of cars to overtake. This will get us up into 9th. Ooh, a little bit wide, a little bit off the grass. Right, approaching a Brazilian. I do like the colour scheme of the Brazil car. I'd love to know what they do, what the colour scheme of the New Zealand one is. Right, he's going in the pits. So he must be pitting every 6 laps or so. Jesus Christ, those are really short stints. He's not going to really get anywhere with stints that short. Nowhere fucking near. But we have now closed the gap on the leader to under 50 seconds. Now, he is on a different strategy. So he's going to pit in another 3 laps. We are going to pit in another 7-8 laps. Then he'll pit again. On about lap 24. So I will have a net gain roughly of about 20 odd something seconds once all is said and done. Plus no loss. Well, it also depends on how long his pit stops are. If my pit stops are like the longest they can be at the moment, his pit stops might not be as long, so it might not be as much of a net gain as I hope, but we are slowly making inroads towards him, and we are catching up to the car in front, which is good. And the good thing is that the pace of the car is not actually that terrible, even though we are running on fuel mix 3. Coming up to a couple of cars now. We've got a Portuguese. Got Portuguese in front of us, and then we got Canada behind us. Wow, they literally just put that big, huge thing that they have on the Portuguese flag right bang smack in the middle of the car. Right, on the inside of the Portuguese car. Then coming up to the, I'm assuming it's Chile. Right, so actually now, if we look, there's been a change in the lead. One of the British cars has taken the lead against the Japanese car. But again, still making inroads into that lead. If he stops any earlier than lap 16, he'll be on a 4-stop strategy. Well, it may not be 4-stop, but we'll have to wait and see. We, on the other hand, still have another 6 laps of fuel left in the car. So we're in a really good position here towards the end of the race. The end of the lap, we will have passed the halfway point of the race, and it only having taken about 25 minutes, so this will actually be quite a short enduro, only about 15 minutes. Sorry, 50 minutes, not 15. Jesus Christ. Pushing not necessarily as hard as I can, but still pushing a little bit because we want to continue making those inroads into the leader, but not pushing to the point where we just knock the car out. I want to keep the car fairly intact as possible. Okay, so in good news, the Japanese car is under 40 seconds now ahead of us. However, we still have half a race to run. So there could still be a lot of variables left between now and the end of the race which prevent us from winning. I doubt it, but all we have to do now, keep it smooth, keep it consistent, and we should be able to win the race fairly strongly. Theo, please do not spam chat, thank you. Right, so going first in the pits, as predicted, lap 16. Right, so he is now out of the pits, and we are about to come around the second to last corner. So we are effectively a pit straight distance behind the leader. Which is good news. Because it will mean that we will be able to make some inroads into his lead. So now's the time to do it. But we are now within the window because even when I pit and the times are unjust, like go out of sync again, because now we're back in sync, right? He's up to his most current pit stop, right? They're only going to go out of sync again once I pit. So normalized positions, I'm currently running in 4th. He's currently running, I don't know. Ah! No, that's not what we need. Teo says I have to go, bro. Thank you very much for watching, my friend. I hope you enjoyed. I hope to see you again soon. It was nice chatting with you this evening. Enjoy your house in the Pacific Ocean. I hope you find all you need out there in the beauty of the Pacific. Vast bloody ocean, though. You're bound to come across some Micronesian island that no one knew until now. Or what was thought to be uninhabited is now inhabited by you and your house. Al Barger says, what car are you driving? So we are currently driving the Red Bull X 2019 competition. It's one of the 5 new cars that was included in today's update. We are currently doing a 30-lap endurance race in the car as one of the new GT League events that was added in the update. So the only thing about this race that isn't part of the update is the track. But Autoopolis is a great track, and everybody should love this track because it's just fantastic to drive and a lot of fun. And so far, apart from the occasional snap oversteer, this car is a very, very fun car to drive. So yes, there you go, my friend. The Red Bull X 2019 competition. V12, 850 odd horsepower. Sounds like a beast. Albarda, thank you very much for the follow, my friend. Greatly appreciated. Alright, so we have got 2 laps of fuel remaining. Meaning we are going to have to pit at the end of the next lap, obviously. Now I could lower the fuel map a little bit, extend it out so we pit on lap 21, give ourselves 9 laps of fuel for the final stint and just push a little harder. The only problem is I'm not 100% sure that would actually work in our favour. So for now, I'm just going to keep going the way we're going. It seems to be working. We seem to be catching up with the front runners. We seem to be matching / beating their race pace. Despite the fact that one of the guys in front set a blistering 1:31.4. See, I've always found with these Gran Turismo Sport Enduros, the way to approach them is always to just play it a little conservative. You know, stick it on a like fuel map 3, stick it on the racing hard tires, and push that way. You always end up better off than if you are trying to just go hard out. You always end up winning. Oh, and he's gone right off at turn 1. So we've basically just been gifted that position. Thank you very much. Right, so we're going to be pitting at the end of this lap. We are approaching the leader. The leader is just down the road. But unfortunately, we probably won't get to him this lap. The lovely buzz of my phone there on the on my motherboard box. We might get the Italian car. We might get the Italian car on this lap, but we won't get... Oh, yep, we're definitely going to get him here because he's run wide. But we're probably not going to get the British entry that's ahead of us. But again, once we do the last round of pit stops, because I'm about to head in for my final pit stop, he's still got one more pit stop to make, it will mean that once it normalizes out, I will be in a net first position. Alright. Time to duck into the pits. Right, again, hard tyres. Right, we'll just fill up the car to its fullest. We're not gonna... There's no point in trying to... There's no point in trying to do it any other way. Let's just fill up the car to its fullest. And off we go. Right, the final stint. Here we go. Right, we're in 6th. But we will be in a net first by the time that we get to the end of the race. Yeah! Okay. That'll be fine. It'll be fine. We'll all be fine. I had to adjust something on my PC. We'll be fine. Everybody's good. We're having a good race. Everything's going well. Right. Yep. Time to get back into the rhythm. We have 10 laps of fuel on the car. We have a fresh set of tyres. We got 26 laps. That should basically... sorry, not 26 laps. 26 seconds between us and first place. By the time he makes his third and final stop, we should be ahead of him at the pace we were going. Very consistent times. Holy crap, look at that. 35, 35, 35. Those are what I call consistent times. This lap, going to be a little shoddy because of a few mistakes coming out of the pits. That's okay. Tim says, sup bud? Hello my friend, how are you doing today? Alright. Time to get back into the groove. Time to crank out 9 or 8 solid laps. About 1:35. It should take us right to the victory. Tim says that he's good. That's good to hear, my friend. I'm glad. Tim says, I've been pretty sad though. Why have you been sad, my friend? What's up? What's been happening? Right. Now we're not aiming for 1:34s. We're aiming for 1:35s. We've got to get that consistent lap time. We'll probably end up doing like a fast lap for this first lap, but then we got to get back to that consistent 1:35 area. That's ideally where we want to sit. Of course, I can't drive to a delta because I don't have a live updating delta. And even if I did, I wouldn't know how to drive to a delta because I've never had to do it before. Right, awesome. 35-2. Tim says, lost 2 of my favourite best friends. That sucks. That really sucks. Yeah, I know what it feels like to lose a friend. And it's not fun. It's really not fun. Right, approaching 4th and 3rd place. 3/10 off our fastest lap, which should bring us, I think, into the 1 minute 35s, which, as I said, that's exactly where we want to be. I'll be in the 1 minute 35s. Isn't that the Japanese car that gifted us P3 after going wide at turn 1? We're in a scrap here with the Portuguese car. This might cost us a little bit of lap time. Slightly annoying. Yep, that cost us quite a bit of lap time. Anyway, Tim says, they said they never liked me and they always hated me. You know what, my friend? They sound like people who are just terrible human beings. They don't even really sound like proper friends if they, you know, are going to treat you like that. So you're probably, in all fairness, better off without them. People like that don't deserve friends. They don't deserve to have people around them because they're just not nice people. Hey, dickhead! Got hit by the Portuguese car behind. Right, we are approaching the Italian car ahead. Now, he'll probably pit this lap, but it doesn't really matter because we're probably about to overtake him on track. So we'll end up inheriting the lead anyway. Ooh, avoided some contact there. Or he can just drive into me. That works. Right, we now have the lead. Now we just have to hold on to it for the next 6 laps. Shouldn't be too difficult of a job to do. We've been fairly consistent this race, which has been awesome. And to be really honest, I think it's because I just really like this track, so... But the other thing is that once you get used to the car, you get used to the track, I've always talked about this. Whenever I've done any of my racing streams, I've always talked about this. Finding the rhythm. Once you get in that rhythm, you're going to be able to have a really solid race, a good run. You're going to be able to have a consistent run as well, and that's what you need. You need to have a consistent run, you need to have a good run. Look, they're all going into the pits now. Whilst we're carrying on, we're going to gain quite a big lead here, which is going to be brilliant for us. Got 5.5 laps left to go. We're in the lead. From what was a 50-second deficit at the end of the first lap, we've managed to pull that back in. Now we're trying to hit those consistent lap times of about 1 minute 35. We can hit those consistent lap times, then I'll be pretty stoked with this race. Feeling pretty happy, pretty positive about it. Alright. 1 minute 35 lap, please. Beautiful. Tim said it's sad because they were both girl and I like one and they unadded me on social media. You know what, dude? At your age, honestly, girls are just not something that you need to worry about. And also, bear in mind also that your age, and no offense to any girls who might be watching this who are of Tim's age, you know, girls at that age, they're just, you know, they're bitchy. They just are. You know, sucks to say it, but they just are. You know, and they'll learn. You know, they'll learn. Teenage girls can be bitchy, man. You know, young girls can be bitchy. I've been on the receiving end of many a bitchy girl. You know, but people like that, they just aren't worth it, man. They honestly aren't. You know, even how much you might have liked them, if they're not going to treat you with the respect that you deserve, it's a waste of time. They don't deserve to be in your life if they're going to treat you with such disrespect and just so cruelly. It's not fair to you. And they'll come to learn in time, you know, that what they did wasn't nice and wasn't fair. But, you know, they have to live a little life first, you know. Once they get to my age, they'll realise they made a mistake, my friend. Right, let's aim for another 1 minute 35. Beautiful. Love nothing more than a little bit of 1 minute 35 in me life. Ooh, that was a little wide. Oh wow, we lost a second, over a second and a half. God, we lost 1.1 second in Sector 2 alone. That's alright, as long as it's within the 1 minute 35s, I don't really care. So let's see if we can make up a little bit of time in the last sector to get to that 1 minute 35. Make up a few tenths in the last sector. These cars ahead is a bit of a slipstream. In the 1 minute 35s, thank you very much. Just where I like to be. Going down the inside for an overtake. Turn 1, shouldn't have lost us that much time. Overlapping a back mark, he should have gotten out of the way, but, you know, as is. Back markers may play a factor now into my goal of trying to hit 1 minute 35 consistent laps. Because now they're just getting in my way. Tim says, want to know what I want? I want a girl who is willing to cuddle me and watch a movie. Don't we all, my friend? Don't we all? That is the ideal situation we want, you know. And, you know, my friend, one day you will have that, but it will take some time. You know, it will take some time. You know, these things don't happen overnight. You know, and you just got to find the right one. And trust me, I hate when my friends say that to me, so if I'm saying it, you know there's some validity. Oh, pardon me. Ugh. You know there's some validity to it. Oh, that sneeze came on very unexpectedly. Ay, 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 ay. Apologies, everybody. Alright, let's chuck up another 135 on the board. Hey! Tim says, God bless you. Thank you, my friend. I love me some 135s. 2 laps left to go. Fuel is good. Tires are good. Car is running smoothly. It's been a great race. Consistency has been fantastic. More than over half the laps at a minute 35. Which I love. Proving myself wrong that you can be consistent in this game. You just have to get the right car, track, and you just got to get the right car and track combination, and you'll be sweet. Again, gaining about 2 tenths on that. Yeet Mum has followed me. Thank you very much, my friend, and I love your username. That is fantastic. Yeet mum. That is awesome. I love it. Thank you very much for the follow, my friend. I gotta tell that to Harry. He'll love that one. Alright, let's go for another minute 35. Oh no, we're gonna get in 34s. Right, last lap. Last opportunity for a minute 35. Now, usually when you'd see your 4/10ths down on your fastest lap, you'd go, ooh, that's not good. But in this case, because our fastest lap is a 34.1, and we want to be in the 35s, 4/10ths down is a great start to the lap. Why would you pit on the last lap? That sucks ass. Look how far down he's falling. He only got 13 litres of gas though, that's hilarious. Still 3/10ths off, so we got to lose about 6/10ths in the last sector to get our last 1 minute 35. Coming round, second to last corner. It's been a beautiful race. It's been a fun race. I've enjoyed it. The consistency has been fantastic. And let's get that last 1 minute 35 lap time. Boom. Oh, no! Minute 34.9. No. I want that one. I want the 1 minute 35. Oh. Damn. I was really hoping for that 1 minute 35. But I will say, like, if we look at the lap chart, you know, solid race. You know, we kind of look. So we kind of look at our net gains. You know, we never really. So the highest we got was third. So if we go back right to the beginning of the race, we never lost a position, really. We only ever really gained. And we gained a lot. Anyway, right. So, there we go. But I'm really disappointed there. I mean, it was close to a 1 minute 35, but we got to get that 1 minute 35. Anyway, guys. With that, I want to thank you very much for joining me this evening for another stream. Second stream of the day brings to a close a long day of streaming. I am, you know, I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm going to pat myself on the back. Two streams in a day. You know, that's a lot of work. So I'm pretty happy with myself. So, won't be here tomorrow night because I've got work, I've got a meeting, I've got to write I'm meeting up with the vocalist of my band to write lyrics, and then I've also got a family dinner for my birthday tomorrow, so unfortunately will not be streaming tomorrow. But then on Saturday, hope to do some streaming. We'll be doing some F1 2019 multiplayer. We will be getting back to Planet Coaster as soon as possible, guys. But we're just going to ride the F1 2019 wave for a little bit. And then we'll get back to Planet Coaster. And then after that, who knows? So yeah, I want to thank you. Tim says, happy early birthday. Well, what's funny is we're having a dinner for my birthday tomorrow night. But that's only because my dad and my stepmom are going to the States for a month. My birthday's actually on the 13th of July. So that's the day to wish me happy birthday. Anyway, so yeah, so I'll be back on Saturday with some F1 2019 multiplayer. Thank you to everyone who chatted along with me. Across both streams today. I've had some great interactions. Love chatting with all you guys. Thank you to everyone who's followed me across the two streams. Thank you to my new subscriber. Got my first subscriber today, which was very, very humbling and very, very awesome. So thank you guys for that. And yeah, make sure guys you do share the channel. Help grow ever expanding community here. It's going well. I'm very, very happy. Remember next week, guys, starting Monday, a brand new schedule starting from about 2:45, 3 in the afternoon. So bringing our usual stream time forward about 4 hours. I will announce the day schedule close to the time once I figure it out. And yeah, that's really it. Make sure you join the Discord server, guys. Make sure you add me on PSN if you want to be part of that multiplayer F1 2019 stream at Bud4211. That's BUD4211. I'll be messaging everyone who wants to be part of that just before we go live. So yeah, but until next time, guys, I hope you have a good day, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world, and I hope to see you later. Farewell.